Have you ever been judged for something that wasn't even about the thing? You don't watch football. You don't follow the trending show. And somehow, you're the strange one. But that judgment was never about football. It was about something invisible controlling all of us. Our attention. And the uncomfortable truth is, your attention is not fully yours. It's being pulled by forces you've never named. So if attention isn't freely chosen, then what chooses it? There are 4 forces, not 4 personality types. 4 gravitational fields that compete for your mind every single day. And whichever one is strongest right now, that's where your life is quietly flowing. The first is action. Some people cannot just watch. They need to build, to make, to move. Not because entertainment is meaningless, but because creating feeds something that consuming never touches. The second is connection, and this one is almost invisible. Some people never loved football. They loved the people around it, the group chats, the roar shared with strangers, the identity of we. When those people disappear, the interest vanishes overnight. Not because the game changed, because the belonging collapsed. But here's what almost nobody admits. You were never watching football. You were chasing the feeling of being alive. For some, that aliveness screams in a stadium. For others, maybe you, and it lives in a quiet room, late at night, turning a page, in the ache after a workout, in the kitchen light and the sound of one knife on one cutting board, in the moment your mind finally cracks a problem and everything goes still. And here's what I need you to hear. If your aliveness doesn't look like everyone else's, that's not a flaw. That's not something to fix. You don't owe the world your attention. You owe it to yourself. Some of us are fed by the crowd. Some of us are fed by the silence. You're not strange. You're just alive in a frequency the crowd can't always hear. But here's what most people miss. They think they are choosing attention. They're not. Attention is choosing them. Now, there are 2 more forces, and the third one might be yours. Curiosity. Some minds are not social. They are exploratory. They chase systems, ideas, patterns. Tech, psychology, business, fitness, music. Their attention is pulled by discovery, not by tradition. Football simply doesn't fire that circuit. And that's not a bug. That's a different operating system. The fourth is pressure. And this is the one that doesn't feel like a choice at all. Some people aren't choosing to ignore things. They have nothing left. Bills, work, deadlines, family, survival. By evening, their attention is already gone. Not because they don't care, but because something heavier got there first. Now, most people miss 2 things here. First, these aren't 4 types of people. They're 4 loads your mind is carrying at the same time. The strongest one right now? That's your attention's true boss. And second, this is the one that changes everything. Attention doesn't just reflect your life. It builds your life. What you repeatedly see becomes familiar. Familiar becomes important. Important becomes identity. Identity becomes the direction of your entire existence. We all believe interest creates attention, but it's the opposite. Attention creates interest. We think interest comes first, but repeated attention often creates interest before we even notice it. Here's a quick proof. Ever found yourself caring about a topic you used to ignore just because it kept showing up on your feed? That wasn't a coincidence. That was attention doing its work. It makes things feel important simply by showing up again and again. So this was never about football. It never was. Football was just a placeholder, a thing the crowd agreed to call normal so they could stop thinking about where their attention was really going. The real question isn't what you're not paying attention to. The real question is, what is taking your attention right now without your permission? Because whatever wins that quiet war will eventually shape who you become, and you deserve to at least know what you're becoming. So tonight, before you sleep, Do one thing. Open your phone. Check your screen time. The top 3 apps. That's not just a list. That's the architect of your future self. Now ask yourself, what are they quietly building me into? If you're willing, drop one of them in the comments. Don't explain it, just name it. You might be surprised how many people share the same invisible pull. And if this gave you a new way to see yourself, share it with someone who needs to hear. You're not broken. You're not strange. You're just paying attention to a different kind of alive.